let's see here. I'm waiting to see who accepts our stream.
I'm looking at that Japanese print. Is that Japanese print behind Connie?
China.
China. Okay.
Okay, Paula, you can go get the link.
I
Okay,
like it.
give me a second then.
So Celeste, George's student, I don't know if he's still taking classes. He might have graduated from China. Got this for him as a gift, and apparently it's a famous calligrapher.
Nice.
And it's, yeah. And I did throw it up on Facebook to see what it said, and it was just kind of a nice affirmation.
Cool. China's an interesting place. I was there for 3 weeks, and primarily in Beijing. That was, and then a couple of small suburbs, I guess, if you will, based on our presentations. And what I can remember is that it was so hot and so humid that my hair was plastered to my head. I don't care what you did. If you took a vacuum cleaner and blew it out, it was going to be flat to my head. It was that hot and that humid.
I was in Beijing.
Okay, Richard.
I saw
it is shared, Richard.
Okay, so let's see. I'll reset the timer, and then when it says on the air, you're on the air, okay?
It says on the air now.
No, that's just the pre-show. Okay, here we go, Paula.
Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. I don't see the timer, Richard. Hello, everyone. I'm here today. This is Whoever Holds the Stone, and I'm here with Connie and Celeste and Richard, and Tom is AWOL, so Richard's doing the engineering of the show.
So you don't see the timer?
No, now I do. Okay, I didn't before because it was just me.
Okay.
Okay, so I see the timer now. Yes, last week I was railing on about how I'm off Spinoza. And I had read enough about Spinoza to know I really didn't care about him anymore. And so now my new thing is James Baldwin. I am loving James Baldwin so much that I can't get enough. But I have to tell you, I picked up on Libby, on the library site, I picked up this really short book. It's almost like a long essay. It's called The Fire Next Time. And I listened to it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm hearing this really familiar story about a young man who is in church, and he gets taken by the Spirit, and he falls down, and he's having this like hours long thing where he's being saved. And I'm thinking, I just read a book, and this was in that book, and I'm pissed. Somebody stole this from James Baldwin. Somebody stole it. So now I'm doing all of my research on what book I just read recently. And guess what? It was James Baldwin.
Okay.
He used it in Go Tell It on the Mountain. And so I felt a lot better that somebody didn't steal it from him because it was almost verbatim. And now I'm listening to If Beale Street Could Talk, and I love his writing so much, and I just think and I love this. This is such an easy format. I think it might be his first novel, and he does it just like a story, just like if somebody's telling a story. He doesn't talk about the characters are there, and there's character development, and you can see, but it's all from this one person's perspective, and she's telling the story, and it never shifts from her storytelling. And I love that so much because it's simple. And I'm thinking, if I ever decided to write like a novella or something, I could do it like that, because I'm so wonky when it comes to thinking about narrator and characters and blah, blah, blah. If I have one narrator who is one of the characters who is the primary person, I think I could do that. But I love him. Okay, so I will be reading all of James Baldwin is for the next few months at least.
And
So
while you're at it, you should also check out the famous debate that he was in.
wasn't there on television
William F.
with
Buckley.
that with
Yeah, but-
yeah, I think I may have seen part of that, but not the whole thing. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see that now because this man has got my heart, and I'm all about him. And so that's that's whose mind I'm picking now, and I like it. So is anybody else into James Baldwin?
Well, he's a
Because
civil rights activist in my corner of the world. So we go back in terms of knowing him. I was introduced to him, God knows, when I
you met,
must have been about 16.
you met him, or you were introduced
No,
to his work?
introduced to his
Oh,
work.
okay, I almost had a heart attack.
Oh.
I know he's gay. I'm not worried about that part. I just
Okay.
I'm a you know, I get excited. That's one thing I like about life. I get excited about discovering things I don't know about, you know. So I'm very excited about James Baldwin right now.
Oh, okay. Well, he's someone to be excited about. Exquisitely articulate.
Oh, he is so smart. He is so smart, and he's so his writing is beautiful. I love him. Okay.
Paula,
So
when I was involved in a jazz project, and John Bacon asked me to do a piece, and it was called, Celeste, you probably remember it, 1968 Jazz Impressions.
Oh, yeah. One
Yeah,
of my,
you were part of
did a
it.
poem of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Yay.
I saw it, and it was a great project. That was anyway. When I did a piece for him, I chose an unknown poem by James Baldwin, and I love it, and I still do. And I'll send it to you.
Yes.
oh, okay. I'm just going to write the name down.
I'm not like a James Baldwin aficionado, but I get the excitement. And by the
Yeah.
way, I've never read the book. If Beale Street Could Talk, that movie, however, that I saw was probably so, in my opinion, underrated. It was the most beautiful, saddest, well done movie I probably have ever seen that spoke to that experience, maybe the African American experience of that time, and it's on my top 10 list.
I
have to
find
say,
it.
it's streaming now.
Oh,
Is it streaming? It's worth watching. 100%.
I just feel right now that not enough has changed since he was writing. I feel like not enough has changed, and it's scary, especially considering things like them tearing down the George Washington slave information out of Philadelphia, tearing it off the walls because Trump didn't like it there, and you know.
Did Trump even know it was there? Probably Steve Miller told him to take it down.
Steve Miller, right? He's the henchman, but
Yeah.
still, I know Trump didn't know. You're right about that. It's horrendous. They're suing him, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on a project now that was originally funded by or supported by Just Buffalo Literary Center in their civil rights program.
Yeah.
It's an enactment of Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham jail. And then I say, you know, colon, if Martin were here today. And I have two actors, one portraying Dr. King of 1963, and another actor portraying Dr. King's if he were the leader of Black Lives Movement. But they're both at different times, you know, but the script is Dr. King's letter. It was a prolific letter that he wrote during his 11 days in Birmingham jail. And in order for me to Dr. King 2021, Black Lives Movement, all I had to do was change. Well, first of all, you can't change the letter because it's published and it is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. I know
But
what you
to
mean.
make it relevant, all I did was change Negro and colored to black.
Yeah,
Other than that, it was relevant. And
yeah,
that's really why, I'm doing it because I was so mad with, you know, taking down Harriet Tubman and getting rid of Colin Powell. And I mean, all this like wacky, tacky, crazy stuff, right? So
yeah.
I thought,
Ridiculous. I mean, it's so outrageous that it's unbelievable that
yeah,
anyone would do it.
yeah. So,
Were
so
any
stay
of
tuned.
you
Come and see us.
were any of you referencing this on most of the platforms? I'll see. I'll see. I'll send you the links.
Well, I'd like to see that too. And now I get on these kicks. So now I'm on a
Sure.
Baldwin kick. But I'm I'm Christy Nome was fired. Did you know that?
Oh,
No.
thank
Oh,
God for small
wow.
favors.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
really,
Good
add a
news.
drop
When
of
did that happen?
sunlight.
I heard about it this morning. She was fired, and Trump replaced her with the border czar that he was actually enemies with. So it must have been during the Biden administration.
Oh, because the border czar they have now is horrid. He will like feed you to the alligators.
Right, but I'm saying this other border czar he's putting in charge of the homeland security of ICE. So because he said, something's got to give. The two people have been killed. I mean,
Well, two people this year. There's been 35 the year before. I mean, there's a published list that
Yeah.
we didn't talk about because
were
we didn't get all that here.
But they were protesters that were killed, or
Protesters and detainees who were U.S. citizens.
yeah. Well, the detainees I knew, but I wasn't aware of the protesters.
Yeah. Their names are published. Somebody, I don't have that information, but I read it on Facebook. Someone put their names up there, and it was something like 35 or something. So we've got, 2 into the first month of the year.
I guess it's because it's certainly not because he cares about it. It's more because he cares about, losing the midterm elections. So
Yeah. Well, Heather Cox Richardson, somebody posted something today to read the last paragraph of her presentation that she does fairly routinely. And it talked about, the effort to deter participation in the midterms. But, we've been saying that since he got elected, right?
yeah.
And now he has the technology giants. That Palantir guy, I mean, I hate what I've learned about him, but the fact of the matter is he's a techno genius, and his partner, he and Elon Musk and this other guy were, all co-founders of PayPal and made their fortune. But he was a technology whiz kid, if you will, and he's manipulating, information. And I think we all heard Elon Musk and or the president after the last election say, next time, we know who won. We won't even need an election. So we already know that there's something shaking. However, that might have been a hyperbole, but it might.
I don't doubt anything anymore. I'm crippled by this. It's we're in a unprecedented time, I guess, is what they're calling it, unprecedented time. But Celeste, do you know that Connie does a jazz show on BBZ?
No.
Yeah.
I stopped looking at regular TV. I need to know this.
Yeah, I know. Well, the problem is it's not on time. It's kind of like you got to be psychic to know when it's going to come on.
Well,
So-
can you post it and say when it's coming on?
Well, we have a page on Facebook. And yeah, it gets a lot of play actually on Saturdays at 4 o'clock, and it's John calls them encore presentations. It's a
Okay.
replay. We made 8 shows, and we're recycling them now. We started with the first one Saturday, and that one featured me doing an interview with John Bacon, but I think it was John Bacon's it was John Bacon's band, and he did all his original music, and it's just lovely piece. And we did George Caldwell, the first series. He did his sextet, and then the third was Mark Filsinger. So I got all these top shelf guys, first called musicians, to come, and they agreed to do it primarily because of the documentation. They did original tunes.
Yeah.
George's original tune is the music for the show.
Nice.
So when you hear it, that's George. It's called Mocus, and it's a tribute tune to his dad. And but anyway, that's we keep it in the family a little bit.
Good. Okay.
Between my husband, of course, and John Bacon being so involved, they were great when I introduced the idea to them. And so they were instrumental in getting these top shelf musicians to participate.
That's wonderful. Because
Yeah.
you listen, for the last year or so, let me be real about that. I've been drenched in cooking shows, home renovation shows, animals shows. I can't do this other stuff. It's making me crazy. So
I know.
now that I know that, I can,
Yeah, they're really good.
You
Greg
can
and I.
always in fact, if you get a chance to see our first show, we talk a little bit about his background and how he started and he evolved, and it was really interesting.
cool.
To
Yeah.
me, it was. I hope it was to anybody watching.
I'm sure.
I
I'm
think that
sure. But
people-
I have.
yeah.
I'm so happy to have something else to look at, because I was going to be this fabulous cook and nobody to cook for, because I keep watching these cooking shows.
I like watching them cook, thinking I'm going to make some of those recipes,
Right.
and then I never do. It's like watching workout videos. Well,
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
Yeah,
you know, that ain't
watching them
happening,
from a comfortable position on the couch.
Mhm.
I save them like I'm going to do them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I used to have when VHS tapes, I used to buy all those exercise tapes, and I would actually do them a couple times, and then they went on the shelf. But
Yeah.
Richard, did you have something that you wanted to discuss today?
I sent everybody my list. So if anybody
Yeah.
Well,
saw
I'd like
anything on the
you
list
to,
that intrigued
yeah,
them, let me know.
I'd like you to pick something out that interests you.
All of them do. It's like saying pick one of your children. They all
Oh,
inspired me, so I
Well,
put them on the list, you know.
I was wondering about the stuff that happened on Friday because I mean, no, when was Jason shows? Was it
oh,
Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah.
And there was something about Paul Dragem on there.
Yeah, that's an
There
interesting
was
story.
something.
Now, if you were him, what would you do? So, a year ago, he went to his cardiologist in Canada and got a complete workup because he was out of breath, he was low energy level, he could feel his heart racing, and so they did a complete workup on him, and they said most of your blood flow to your heart is only at 50%.
Yikes.
So they said, we definitely have to monitor this with you. They said, we got to make sure your stents are working and everything like that. Okay. So they got, using drugs, they got him back to normal. And then last week, he had the same symptoms. So he went to the doctor again, different doctor. And this doctor said, wow, our tests show you only have 5% blockage.
Oh,
So whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it. Now, if you were
wow.
him, would you say, oh, the current one is the correct one and the one from a year ago is the wrong one? Because he likes the current one because he eats, get this, he eats a pound of bacon a day. Doesn't that seem a little
That doesn't
extreme?
that doesn't seem like a good idea. You know,
Agree.
Richard, are we
That's an
are we
old-fashioned
frozen?
diet. Don't you remember that
Yeah.
old-fashioned diet where people were eating eggs and steak and getting rid of their carbohydrates?
And then my father died at 48.
Yeah.
So yeah, my father ate bacon and eggs every morning for his entire lifetime, and then he was he died of a massive heart attack at 48.
Yikes. Well, that's not good.
Yeah, so he's eating all this bacon, and what else is he doing, Richard?
He's like Lori. He's on an all meat diet.
So Richard, are we frozen?
You
when
are. You are. And the
Yeah,
only
we
way
know not
to
to.
the only way to get you live again is to
Yeah.
restart the show, which I don't think I want to do.
No.
Okay, because I think we're frozen in different. I think we're, So if you see us live, then we're not frozen. But if we're all together, we're frozen. Yeah. So do you think that the test that they did recently there's something wrong with that test?
Well, that's the first thing I would think. Like, which is correct, this one or the one from a year ago? Because
Well, you have to look at the records, right?
the same
X-rays or the
symptoms
tests or
popped up
whatever.
again. That's why he went back again, which indicates to me he still got the 50% blockage.
Well,
Yeah.
was it
Yeah,
50%? I mean, what test did they run to say 5%? Right?
I can't remember the exact medical name for the test that they do.
Yeah. Because it could be a recurrence, but maybe not as congested as prior to that. And he was experiencing, he got to the wall. You know how you're doing something, you get to a wall, and then,
Well,
you got another problem. I don't
we
know.
brought it up on the show. Jason, who is a doctor, said that the test that they gave you for blockage, where they put a dye into your blood,
Yeah.
he said it's always a guess. It's not 100% accurate. It's basically 50% accurate. And they they look at the way the dye flows and what goes in, what comes out, and then they make a guess what the blockage is. So he said, what you got is two different guesses.
Wow.
Right. So I just saw. I want to say hello to Mick and Lori. I saw that both of them made some comments on the screen, and I am glad that they're here with us. Thank you.
Yeah, Lori mentioned the name of the person who was fired. It wasn't Christy Nome. It was somebody different. Did you see that?
It wasn't Christy Nome.
No,
Oh, I was so happy.
no.
I was so happy too.
Well, I went and looked it up, and it said no, she hasn't been fired yet. Everybody's calling for her to be fired, but she hasn't been fired.
Oh, maybe I just saw something and it was wishful thinking.
It was someone named Dan Bogino.
I thought
Oh, wait a minute. Is it the guy that dresses like the SS?
I don't know. I know.
Right? No,
I
that's
didn't know he had one of those.
right? The lead, yeah, he does. Look at his pictures. They compare them. They put pictures up next to him of SS people, and he's got the same coat, the same lapels, the same. He gives the salute. Oh, I mean,
Oh man.
he's deep. So he's not. I don't know if he. I think he's Greg Bovino, Bovino,
Oh,
and not Dan somebody.
okay.
All right. Well,
Maybe.
this is a big disappointment.
I know, what a downer.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was the bearer of good news that wasn't true.
I didn't think it was good news. I thought, who could be possibly worse and put in that position? And that's what it was.
What got me feeling good about it was that Trump did it because of the two people that got killed, and I thought, well, either he's got to be scared of the midterms or something,
Yeah.
that he's trying to do something positive, or but of course it wasn't true. People like try to grab onto those bits
I know.
and pieces of hope. Hope
That
like
is the
dope.
grasp at the straw, right?
Hope is like dope.
So
But yeah, I'm so what's the conclusion with Paul Dragem?
That's
Richard.
what his conclusion is. Great. I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm doing the right thing. And I thought, I don't think I would conclude that, Paul. And I was
yeah, he
wondering
might
if
need
you could
another
give me your
opinion.
opinions.
Yeah, well, I don't eat meat. I mean, red meat. I do eat some poultry, and I do eat fish, but I got diagnosed with high cholesterol, and so I'm trying to be cautious. I'm trying to live my best life if I can extend it somewhat, because I enjoy life. I enjoy living. Not that I'm afraid of death. I'm not, but I do enjoy living.
He should go to another doctor, and whichever one errs closer to that, since they're all guesses.
That's what I was thinking.
I go, so whose guess more closely matches the other?
Yeah,
So I certainly would. I'd get another opinion.
Richard, I would go by how I'm feeling. I would take that problem that he's having breathing or whatever he's having problems with, and I would use that as my North Star and try to work my way into feeling better. As a photographer, he goes out there. He's got to be, crunching himself down to get certain shots and stretching himself up and working his body around. And he's got to go by how his body feels. That's what I do. If my body's telling me that something's wrong, I try to figure out what that wrong is.
That sounds wise.
Yeah.
Connie, do you have a
Well-
special diet that you use?
I wish I could say yes to that. I'm always trying, but tend to eat way too much cheese. I'm a cheese, cream, dairy. If diet is going to kill me, it's going to be that. I told George
And
this morning I
yeah,
had to lay off of it.
do you eat like a certain part of the day and then not eat, like the intermittent fasting? Do you do that?
I've done all type. I'm a yo-yo dieter, so I've done all kinds of things. And I do like fasting. I do like waiting, until noon to eat because my body's okay with that, and and then
Yeah.
I enjoy my food more.
Yeah.
And
My doctor suggested I do that. He said to start with 10 hours of eating, 14 hours of not eating. Start there. And because I eat very healthfully, but I really can't lose weight. I've been stuck at the same point. I'm not gaining weight, but I'm stuck at the same point. So I know Lori is a big proponent of fasting. So if she's still listening, she can maybe chime in. But my friend Patty also, who always had a little bit of a weight problem, she does the 8 hour and the 8. If it's 10 and 14, it's 8 and 16. 16 hours off food and 8 hours on food. And she's maintained her weight. She lost like 30 pounds and she's maintained it for years now. So I don't know.
But in answer to Richard's question, I don't really have a diet per se. I kind of eat what I feel like eating, which is bad.
You eat a lot of vegetables and fruit, though. I see you posting.
I do get that in. I mean, my husband's a very healthy eater, so I cook for him, and so by default, I'll eat a lot of brown rice and beans, which I make from scratch, and I actually enjoy it too. So, because of him, I think I'm a healthier eater. He doesn't eat red meat, so I don't buy it. I don't want to make 2 meals.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably why I snack on cheese so much, though, because I'm just bad about eating.
Cheese is good. Just don't say bad things about cheese.
Okay, I take it back.
I have some brie in my refrigerator. I have some Gouda in my refrigerator. I have some Havarti in my refrigerator. Yikes.
Yeah, I like cheese as well. I don't eat a lot of it, but I like good cheese.
Yeah.
Well, my concern
it's a
with
pleasure.
it is inflammation now. I mean, you start to think about these things.
Yeah.
As you age, I'm like, is that why I'm all stiff? Is it because I'm eating too much cheese? I don't know. But I'm not willing to give it up and find out.
I think I have inflammation as well, and I think that I think my inflammation comes from past trauma, and that's where I think most people's inflammation. There's a book I talk about these 2 books. One is called The Body Keeps the Score, and the other one is called The Myth of Normal, and they talk about how that childhood trauma stuff, it gets your body into this space where it's fight or flight, and you're pumping adrenaline into your system all the time, and you totally fuck up your inflammation. And so, Greg and I meditate every night now. We meditate for half an hour.
And that helps.
It's helped with his anxiety, and I think I need probably need this special therapy that they do for people with childhood trauma, but I can't afford it. So I try to figure out things to do myself.
I'm going with turmeric tablets. Okay, capsules.
Turmeric. I take turmeric.
Yes.
I'm big on that. But I feel what's wrong with me. I know what's. That's just like we were saying for Paul. He can feel that there's something wrong, but he wants to ignore it because he wants to eat a pound of bacon every day.
Exactly.
Who can afford? Bacon's $10 a pound now.
I know.
He must be on I don't know, $10 a pound for bacon. I'm not eating it.
No, that's scary. So the other thing on Richard's list, and I have no idea who these people are, so you can help. the Mitford sisters?
Oh, it's a fascinating story. So
Oh,
in the 1920s, a very prominent, wealthy family in England had 5 daughters. And the patriarch of the family insisted that they all get top-notch educations. So they did, but they all turned out vastly different. This is so cool. Nancy became a novelist, and in her novels, she made fun of her family's eccentricities. Pamela decided, oh, I want to live the life of a quiet country person. So she bought a farm and she lived there with the animals and her husband. Let's see here. Diana, she was married, but then she fell in love with the leader of the British fascist movement in England, Oswald Mosley. He was Mosley was so connected to the Nazi Party that at their wedding, it was performed at the home of Joseph Goebbels.
Oh
yikes.
God.
Unity also became obsessed with Adolf Hitler. She joined his inner circle, and when Britain declared war on Germany, she tried to kill herself.
Oh,
Wow.
Lord.
And then Jessica, I'll save her for last. Deborah married the
Oh,
Duke
wait.
of Devonshire, and she led the life of a wealthy aristocrat, going to balls and parties and dressing, quite elaborately. But the last daughter, Jessica, she joined the Communist Party. She was always going to demonstrations and everything. She signed up to fight in the Spanish Civil War. Then she moved to the U.S. because she wanted to do something about the racism in the U.S. And she became a prominent member of the Communist Party of Oakland. And she became a journalist making fun of because all the sisters had this gift of comedy. She made fun of the right wing in America. In fact, Jessica got called in by the American House Un-American Activities Committee that Joseph McCarthy did. And she was so jovial and so, how would you put it, disarming that they let her off. So isn't that interesting how differently sisters can turn out?
Yeah.
Interestingly,
Yeah, given the same set of criteria, the education and the same nurturing and love and whatever I guess we're all like a mishmash, a soup of our genetic material, so I got stuff from my grandparents that maybe my parents didn't have, so that who knows? So, I mean, I never met them. I could be just like my grandmother for all I know.
so
And
this,
everyone has a different experience growing up, even if it's the same family and the same house. And they just all 5 of them have different experiences. From being the oldest to being the youngest is extraordinarily different
Yeah,
experience. Just thinking of that, and then how their parents are to each, and even if the parent I think that they love everyone the same and they're treating everyone the same, I think you're a lot different parent with the first kid than you are with the 5th kid.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes total sense. I look at my 2 cats, both the same, brothers. They're both black. I can't tell them apart. They same litter, same everything. Picked them up the same day. Can't tell them apart, so I can't treat one better than the other. 2 extraordinarily different cats.
Yeah.
it's a good
So-
analogy.
yeah, that's a good.
Maybe that's not the best analogy, but how are
No,
they?
it actually is, because what
eat the same
happens is
food.
it's especially since you can't tell them apart unless one's acting out and you know which one that is. That is a good analogy.
And that's
because,
how I know them, mostly because we've identified them by the way, one is a little more cautious and then one will just pounce. So I'm like, okay, that's Rudy. Okay, that's so. But then, of course, now, there's other things too at a closer look. But for the most part, I mean, I actually do have a favorite though now because Rudy seems to love me more.
Okay.
That's right. That's all we want from our pets.
That's
is
funny,
for them
yeah.
to love us. Yeah,
But
that's
that
all we
evolved.
want.
That didn't start out
Well,
that way.
we will feed you, we will scoop your litter, we will do all these things. Just love us.
Well, my sister and I mean, we're 4 years apart, but when we have our conversations in the back of my mind, I say, gee, are we sure we were we were in the same house all the time with the same people?
You're not have the same daddy, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that
and
brings
I
us.
see
Well,
the same thing with my
with
daughter.
my mother and my mother and her sister. My mother is 16 years older than her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And when my mother was growing up, it was during the Depression, and her father drank. And he was not a fun drunk. He'd come home and he'd be looking for her, and he'd be angry, and she would hide under the bed, and so she had that experience. And then when his first wife, my mother's mother, died, he met this other woman, Lottie. And Lottie read him the riot act. She said, "You want to be married to me? You got to, no drinking, nothing." So my Aunt Rosie, in turn, she's a blood, both parents with my mother, but she remembers her father as this warm and loving and jovial guy who, would pick her up when he came home and swing her around. And it's like they were talking when my mother was alive, they were talking about two different people.
Yeah,
Different point in the parent's life.
yeah,
Right. And even external factors like who your friends are when you're in kindergarten. You're not going to have the same friends your brother had or your
right.
sister, you're older. They're just everything is, I think, assists who you're going to become.
Yeah.
Richard, I'm curious. What do you think the story is about why these siblings were different?
Whoa. Well, I think it has to do with the environment, the way they reacted to the ideological environment of the time. Incidentally,
So
this is
the bigger environment.
you know
Yeah.
what I think would shed a lot of light on this. The parents insisted as the daughters were growing up, always stay friends, no matter what happens. Always stay friends, and it stuck. So the sisters would always write letters to one another. And since they were so literary, these letters were, they put a lot of energy into them. Then they published a book of the letters.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be an interesting book to
sisters?
read?
Yeah.
The sisters published a book of their letters, or
Yes.
somebody.
Of the letters between them over the decades.
Yeah, I'd be interested in. I love reading people's letters. I
love that format. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite John Steinbeck book is his letters. It's huge, and it's like mind blowing.
Wow.
I love letters.
Letters are
Do you
great.
know what the name of the book is, Richard?
I'll look it up right now. And I will let you know. Oh, I also have something to post here. You are right, Celeste. Anyway, there's that. But Lori Michaels wants us to talk about the movie Sinners. Anybody here on the panel seen that movie Sinners?
Oh, yeah. It's a great movie.
Yeah, is it? I saw. I've been hearing a lot about it. I haven't seen it, so I'd like to see it.
It's got this cool plot device where a
Yeah.
vampire cannot enter your house unless invited. So what happens is the vampires come up to the church where all the people are inside, and the first thing they say is, "Look, I'm just a normal person, but can I come in?" And they find this weird. Like, why are you saying, "Can you come in?" And then eventually the people in the church figure out this is not a normal person. So it's like having a conversation with the devil where the people in the church ask questions of the vampire, trying to trip the vampire up. It's very interesting.
And I guess there's some love lost. I didn't see it. My sister saw it. She said she spent quite amount of time with her eyes covered.
Also,
But
yeah, I do that
maybe
too.
there's some sort of romantic theme in there. Is that right, Connie? About that?
Yes, there is that. Um, I think I found it to be a very exciting movie. There is an wonderful dance scene in this juke joint that the brothers, and it's one actor playing the two brothers, Michael Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, yeah, and they buy this juke joint, and they, you know, they're in the business of entertainment, hospitality, drinking. It's a pub, or it's a juke joint where people go and hang out and all that stuff. But anyway, at one point there is a scene where people are just dancing and they're getting frenzied and wild with drink, and there's a lot of sexual energy in the movie. And I just thought, oh my God, this is extraordinary. I love this film so much. Whereas, and I don't like Dracula movies, I don't like vampire movies. I just found this really smart in some way. And there were a lot of things that I probably went over my head too, in terms of what, Michael Jordan wanted to say about, in the movie. There's some, I wish I could remember the one line where, because I saw it when it first came out, so it was already a year. Oh, feels like it was 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. But anyway, where there's a scene where I'll have to come back to it, because it talks. You have to know that they're saying they'll tell our story, they'll steal our stories, they'll steal the vampires are really white supremacists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing it because it looked exciting when they showed,
Yeah.
parts of it.
A lot of threads in that.
And yeah, and sometimes you pick up on, what interests you, the part that interests you. So maybe the violence wasn't as interesting to you. So you kind of mentally passed over that. There was too much to absorb.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, when there is a lot going on like that, and it is, but and a part of it too is I should see it again, because I couldn't understand
know you see a lot of movies. Did you see it?
Yeah, yeah. And like Connie,
What'd you
What did you
think?
think?
I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot, and it's very classy. Like Connie said during that dance scene that she was talking about, the way the camera moved, it was just remarkable. And they were, if I'm not mistaken, Connie, weren't they having flashbacks to things that actually happened in history during that montage?
Yes, there's a lot of history woven into it. Oh my God, now I want to watch it again. Just if I knew there was going to be a quiz, I would have caught up. But yeah, huge amounts of history.
Yeah, it sounds right. I'd like to see that as well. There's just it doesn't seem like there's ever enough time to
Yeah.
see all the things that I want to see.
Well,
We don't necessarily watch it in one hunk. If it's streaming someplace, we'll watch it in pieces because we tend to go to bed on the early side these days.
Well, there's that, and I like watching movies still in movie houses because I don't snooze.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love going to the movies.
Yeah, I do too.
There's a supernatural element too to this that gives it a lot of license. You'll love it.
I think
I'll
so.
see it.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had that conversation with my sister about the movie. She wants me to be able to talk about it with her. I said, I got to see it first, but you scared me talking about you covered up your eyes most of the time.
I'm trying to think how much. Well, there is a lot of blood flying around.
Yeah, so she's squeamish.
It's
So
no more squeamish than The Pet, which I found very. If anyone's seen that,
Oh, Noah Wiley's Netflix story, right? No. I've been busy
The Pit.
trying to learn how to make.
it is the Philadelphia. It's a Pittsburgh. Takes place in a Pittsburgh ER room in a whole day.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't seen that. I'm
They're
not.
showing,
Yeah, lots. I know. I don't want to see that.
that I can't watch.
Yeah, and that's when I look at reruns of
what?
Iron Chef America.
I took an osteology class and I loved working with human bones. It was the most fascinating thing to be holding onto a bone that used to belong to somebody. But when my teacher recommended I take the next class, which was the meat part, I had to defer because I couldn't do that. I couldn't dissect. I like the dry, clean bones.
Yeah.
Those were spectacular. Anything wet and mushy, I don't want to know about.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's a lot.
so we've got
there's a long list of movies, and thinking about Paula and James Baldwin, did you look at that series, Truman Capote and the Swans? It was
no,
on
I
FX.
didn't. I did
That's
not.
an amazing piece of TV. The writers on that are genius. But
Yeah,
Baldwin and Capote were friends, and there's scenes in there
Yeah.
with the character Baldwin. and Capote.
And what's that called? What's that called again?
The Swans, Truman Capote and the Swans. And it's, focused on real life characters.
Do you know that story about Truman Capote, Paula?
And the one about him connected to the Swans.
Well, he was connected to high society. Everybody wanted to have him come to their parties.
Yeah, I knew that about him.
He became friends with all the wealthy people in New York, etc. And then he wrote a book about everything that they told him in their private conversations, and they all hated him for that. And he was like perplexed,
wow.
like, I'm a writer. What do you expect me to do? I got to write about my life experiences.
Yes.
Wow, what was that? I in Cold Blood. That's the only one that I have read. I don't think I've read anything else by him, but that one sounds interesting, actually.
Well, it's a movie. I don't know if it's a book. But his book that he actually did write. Yeah, that, and I don't know the name of that.
The TV series. It's a series, actually. The Swans.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. I've been interested in that. I think we talked about that before, but I haven't seen anything. I don't find myself in front of the TV enough to alone, because Greg and I have different tastes. So if I'm going to watch something, I'll, I record certain things, and then I watch them while I'm eating or something. But we don't have the same taste in everything. So I don't really. I find I'm fidgety. I need to move all the time. I'm very
Well, that dialogue in that show, and when you've been around, like we have around the theater, around the business, I mean, it takes a lot to get you worked up because you've seen it, heard it, done it, whatever. I would be exhausted at the end of an episode because
that's how I feel about The Handmaid's Tale.
yeah, because it's punchy. It's reality. You're surprised at some of the stuff that comes out of these people's mouths. You also are wondering how much of it is exaggeration of high society, because we all hear these scorched tales about that sector of the population. But
well, we don't know because we can't.
Right.
We're not there.
But if you like words and fascination and history, that's a really good series. And James Baldwin as a real, as a character and relationship.
Yeah, there's so many new ideas I've gotten from this show today about his documentary and the debate, and I'm going to be chock full of James Baldwin before I'm finished.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting man. Very, very eloquent. Very, I love the way he thinks. The way he thinks is so. It's so logical and it's so beautiful. His mind is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was so good that he was considered dangerous, and for some, and inspiration for others. Yeah.
Well, right. I mean, this is, and I guess the reason I like his writing is because I see all of that as well in society, and I feel like a lot of people don't, and that's a little frustrating when, poets. Okay, you're a poet, Celeste. You see things a little differently than people, who aren't poets.
Okay.
I think most of the poets that I know have they see things, they have a different viewpoint. So I feel he's got the heart and soul of a poet.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of say that about composers, right?
Sure, but I'm not as
masterworks. You have 7 notes to work with, and you turn out, I don't know, hours of inspirational or not. But you've taken these 7 notes and you mixed them and matched them and mixed them and matched them, and you come out with a symphony.
Yeah, I know it is. It's pretty impressive. I don't have any knowledge of what it takes to write music like that.
Yeah.
I sometimes, I'm constantly singing around the house, and I'm constantly humming things, and I love music, but I don't have any knowledge that would, give me the right to say, oh yes, I can hear this in this melody, or I feel it sometimes.
Yes.
I feel like sorrow or happiness when I hear the music, but I don't know if that's what the writer was trying to put across.
Well, I guess it's some, an emotional story that they're saying could be lofty and could not be lofty. I mean, I'm a big fan of Middle Eastern music and Spanish gypsy music, and sometimes they're singing about the village baker, right? But I still like it, right? And
but I like it.
Right?
Yeah, I like it too.
And I posted something the other day from a singer, I guess he was from 1950s and 1955, somewhere around there. of him singing an excerpt of this song. I had no idea what he was saying. I think it was Portuguese. I loved it. I like, this thing is fabulous. I'm clueless about what he's talking about, but it sounded wonderful. It sounded wonderful to me. And I want to know that whole song, whatever it is. I want to find out what it is. And of course, it's in a different language and the translation wasn't there. So it's like, I don't know who it is, but I love it. So, you know, music has that power. You
Yeah,
know.
it does. It does. It's mood altering, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't see the clock anymore, Richard, unless you put
Okay,
all of this
I'll
up.
move it
So
again.
where
It
are
seems
we?
when I
Oh,
move it, you can see it. How's that?
yeah. Now I see it. So we're at 1 minute and 6 seconds. Richard, do you have something else on your mind?
Yeah, a cartoon. Very
Okay.
thought provoking. All right.
All
So,
right.
which I thought it's brilliant. Like, isn't that so
Well,
true? When you're immersed in something, you rarely think about it.
right. Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm going with that whole concept of God being all part of this one thing. You can't see it. It's there, but you can't see it. So
Yeah. Or,
yeah.
you know, and
But
that's the first thing I'm thinking, do fish even know they're in water, right? That was an interesting thing.
yeah,
I mean,
I mean they probably they know when they're out of water because they can't breathe. But
right, right. So we're in air, so we know when we're in water, but we really don't know what.
you're not really conscious of air unless the wind is blowing.
No.
Wind can feel it.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson seems to think that we're particles of stardust, and I'm going to roll with that. I like that.
Okay, I think that's where we're going to end then. So I have to thank everyone, Connie, Celeste, Richard. I love these things. It makes me feel like I'm part of something, and I have you all to thank for that. So thank you, everyone, and good night.
Okay. Good to see you, Connie.